My name is Sarah, and 3 years ago, my sister Rachel stole $18,000 from my savings account under the pretense of a medical emergency, then used that money to buy herself a luxury car while I struggled to pay rent. What she didn't know was that her betrayal would become the catalyst for me building a seven-figure business empire that would eventually make her beg for forgiveness. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from. And if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. This is the story of how financial betrayal by the person I trusted most became the foundation for the most extraordinary transformation of my life. What began as the worst violation of trust I had ever experienced evolved into a masterclass in resilience, strategic thinking, and the power of turning pain into purpose. The events I am about to share with you occurred over a period of 3 years, during which I discovered that sometimes the people closest to us can inflict the deepest wounds, but those same wounds can become the source of our greatest strength. This is not just a story about money or family dysfunction. This is a story about how betrayal can become the catalyst for unprecedented personal growth and financial independence. When people hear this story, they often ask me whether I would change what happened if I could go back in time. The answer surprises them, because despite the pain and hardship that Rachel's actions caused, I would not alter a single detail of this journey. Her betrayal forced me to discover capabilities I never knew I possessed and to build a life that exceeded every dream I had ever dared to imagine. But I am getting ahead of myself. To understand the magnitude of what transpired, you need to understand who I was before this transformation began, the circumstances that made me vulnerable to Rachel's deception, and the specific sequence of events that would ultimately reshape my entire existence. 3 years ago, I was a 28-year-old graphic designer working for a mid-sized marketing agency in Denver, Colorado. I lived in a modest one-bedroom apartment in the Capitol Hill neighborhood, drove a reliable but aging Honda Civic, and maintained what I considered to be a comfortable if unremarkable lifestyle. My monthly income of $4,200 covered my basic expenses while allowing me to save approximately $800 each month toward long-term financial goals. The financial discipline that defined my adult life had been shaped by childhood experiences that taught me the importance of self-reliance and careful resource management. Our parents had divorced when I was 12 and Rachel was 15, creating financial instability that affected both of our teenage years. Mom worked 2 jobs to maintain our household, while Dad contributed sporadic child support payments that were never sufficient or reliable. These formative experiences had affected Rachel and me in dramatically different ways. While I developed an almost obsessive commitment to financial security and independence, Rachel seemed to approach money with a combination of entitlement and carelessness that consistently created problems in her adult life. Where I saved meticulously and planned for contingencies, Rachel spent impulsively and expected others to solve the financial crises that resulted from her poor decisions. Despite these fundamental differences in our approaches to money and responsibility, Rachel and I had maintained a close relationship throughout our 20s. She was 3 years older, married to a man named Kevin, who worked in construction, and they lived in a suburban house in Thornton with their 2 young children, Emma and Tyler. Rachel worked part-time as a dental hygienist, a job that provided flexible hours but inconsistent income. The dynamic between Rachel and me had been established early in our adult lives, with me frequently serving as the responsible younger sister who could be relied upon to provide practical support during difficult periods. When Rachel needed help with babysitting, I adjusted my schedule to care for Emma and Tyler. When she faced temporary financial shortfalls between Kevin's construction jobs, I provided small loans that were eventually repaid. When she needed emotional support during marital difficulties or work-related stress, I listened patiently and offered whatever guidance I could provide. This pattern of support had never seemed problematic because the assistance I provided was always within reasonable limits, and Rachel consistently honored her commitments to repay financial loans. Our relationship felt balanced, with me providing stability and reliability, while Rachel contributed spontaneity and emotional warmth to our family dynamic. The $18,000 that would become central to this story represented 3 years of disciplined saving toward a specific financial goal that had become increasingly important to me. I had been planning to use this money as a down payment on a condominium, transitioning from renting to home ownership as a crucial step toward long-term financial security and independence. The savings account containing this money was held at First National Bank of Colorado, where I had maintained accounts since college. The account was in my name only, but I had provided Rachel with access information several months earlier, during a period when I was traveling for work and needed someone to handle an emergency financial transaction on my behalf. After that situation was resolved, I had forgotten to change the account access credentials, an oversight that would prove to be the most expensive mistake of my life. The amount of $18,000 represented far more than its numerical value in my personal financial ecosystem. This money symbolized sacrifice, discipline, and hope for a better future. Every dollar had been earned through additional freelance projects completed during evenings and weekends. Every contribution to this account had required saying no to immediate pleasures and maintaining focus on long-term objectives that sometimes seemed impossibly distant. I had calculated that $18,000 would provide sufficient down payment for a modest condominium in one of Denver's emerging neighborhoods, where property values were appreciating but remained within reach of someone with my income level. The transition from renting to ownership represented more than financial investment. It symbolized independence, stability, and progress toward the kind of life I had been working to build since graduating from college. My career as a graphic designer had been progressing steadily, with increasing responsibility and compensation. Reflecting my growing expertise and professional reputation, I specialized in brand development and digital marketing materials, working with clients ranging from local restaurants to regional technology companies. The work was creatively fulfilling and financially sustainable, providing the foundation for the life I was building in Denver. The marketing agency where I worked, Creative Solutions Denver, employed 23 people and served clients throughout Colorado and neighboring states. My position as senior graphic designer included responsibility for major client accounts and mentoring junior staff members. The role provided excellent experience in project management, client relations, and creative problem-solving that would prove invaluable in ways I could never have anticipated. My immediate supervisor, Maria Santos, had become both a professional mentor and personal friend during my 4 years with the company. Maria recognized my potential for advancement and had been encouraging me to consider freelance consulting work that could supplement my agency income while building an independent client base. These conversations had planted seeds for entrepreneurial thinking that remained dormant until circumstances forced them to grow rapidly. The apartment I rented in Capitol Hill reflected my practical approach to lifestyle and financial management. The space was small but efficiently organized, with a dedicated workspace for freelance projects and carefully chosen furnishings that balanced comfort with cost-effectiveness. The neighborhood provided convenient access to downtown Denver while maintaining reasonable rent costs that supported my savings goals. My social life centered around a small group of close friends from college and colleagues from work, relationships, that provided emotional support and recreational activities without requiring excessive financial investment. We gathered regularly for potluck dinners, hiking excursions in the nearby mountains, and occasional concerts or cultural events that fit within modest entertainment budgets. This lifestyle represented a deliberate choice to prioritize long-term financial security over immediate gratification, a decision that sometimes required declining social invitations or postponing purchases that friends and colleagues took for granted. The discipline required for maintaining this approach was significant, but the growing balance in my savings account provided motivation and validation for the sacrifices involved. Rachel's lifestyle presented a stark contrast to my careful financial management. She and Kevin lived in a house they could barely afford, drove vehicles that required constant repairs, and consistently struggled with credit card debt that created ongoing stress in their marriage. Their approach to money seemed to assume that problems would somehow resolve themselves, or that family members would provide assistance during crisis periods. Despite these concerning patterns, I never questioned Rachel's fundamental honesty or integrity. When she asked for help, the requests seemed reasonable and her explanations were always plausible. The amounts involved in previous loans had been small enough that repayment was manageable even when delayed. I trusted her completely, a trust that would soon be revealed as tragically misplaced. The relationship between trust and family dynamics is complex, particularly between siblings who have shared formative experiences and developed interdependent support systems. Rachel and I had been through difficult periods together, and I believed that our bond was strong enough to withstand normal financial stresses and temporary setbacks. I could never have imagined that she was capable of the betrayal that was about to unfold. Looking back, I can identify warning signs that should have alerted me to potential problems, but at the time these indicators seemed like normal variations in Rachel's typically chaotic approach to life management. Her requests for small loans had become slightly more frequent, and her explanations for financial difficulties had become somewhat more elaborate. But these changes seemed consistent with the increasing responsibilities of raising 2 children while managing an unstable household income. The specific circumstances that led to Rachel's access to my savings account had occurred 6 months before the theft, during a business trip to San Francisco, where I was presenting creative concepts to a potential major client. The presentation was scheduled for a Monday morning, and I had traveled to California the previous Friday to prepare for what could have been a career-defining opportunity. On Sunday evening, my apartment building in Denver experienced a plumbing emergency that flooded several units, including mine. My upstairs neighbor's bathtub had overflowed due to a faulty drain system, sending water cascading through my ceiling and damaging furniture, electronics, and personal belongings throughout my living space. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. The property management company required immediate action to prevent additional damage, including authorization for emergency repairs and coordination with insurance representatives who needed access to assess the extent of the destruction. Since I was in California and could not return until Tuesday, I needed someone in Denver to handle these urgent matters on my behalf. Rachel volunteered to manage the situation, and I provided her with access to my checking account so she could pay for temporary accommodations and emergency expenses that might arise before insurance coverage could be activated. The account information I shared included login credentials for online banking, which provided access to all of my accounts at First National Bank of Colorado. After returning from San Francisco, I had been so focused on dealing with insurance, claims, temporary housing arrangements, and the stress of potentially career-changing client presentations that I never thought to change the banking access credentials I had shared with Rachel. The plumbing emergency had been resolved, insurance had covered most of the damages, and life had returned to normal routines that made banking security seem like a lower priority concern. This oversight would prove to be the foundation for the most devastating betrayal I had ever experienced, but it would also become the catalyst for the most extraordinary period of growth and achievement in my life. The story I am about to tell you demonstrates that sometimes our greatest disasters become our most valuable opportunities, and that the people who hurt us most can inadvertently provide the motivation we need to exceed every limitation we had previously accepted. The events that followed would test every assumption I had made about family loyalty, personal resilience, and my own capabilities. They would force me to discover strength I never knew I possessed, and to develop skills that would transform not only my financial situation, but my entire understanding of what was possible for my life. Rachel's betrayal would shatter the comfortable, predictable existence I had been building in Denver, but from the ruins of that destruction, I would construct something far more magnificent than anything I had previously dared to imagine. The journey from victim to victor would require every resource I could summon, but the destination would exceed every dream I had ever allowed myself to consider. This transformation began with a single phone call on a Tuesday morning in March, exactly 18 months after I had naively shared my banking information with someone I trusted completely. That phone call would mark the end of one chapter of my life and the dramatic beginning of another, setting in motion a sequence of events that would ultimately prove that betrayal, while painful, can become the foundation for unprecedented personal revolution. The phone call that would irrevocably alter the trajectory of my life came at 9:47 on a Tuesday morning in March, while I was reviewing client mock-ups for a restaurant rebranding project at my desk in the Creative Solutions, Denver office. The caller identification displayed First National Bank, which seemed unusual since I typically received account notifications through email rather than direct phone contact. Amanda Richardson, a customer service representative from the bank's fraud prevention department, spoke with the careful professionalism that financial institutions employ when delivering potentially devastating news. Her voice carried a mixture of concern and procedural efficiency as she explained that unusual activity on my primary savings account had triggered automatic security protocols requiring immediate verification. The initial questions seemed routine, designed to confirm my identity and account ownership through standard verification procedures. Amanda asked for my full name, address, social security number, and recent transaction history. All information I provided without hesitation since these requests aligned with normal banking security measures I had encountered previously. However, the conversation took an alarming turn when Amanda began describing specific transactions that I had no knowledge of or authorization for. According to her records, my savings account had experienced a substantial withdrawal of $18,000 on the previous Friday afternoon, executed through online banking access that appeared to originate from an authorized user account. The initial shock of this information rendered me temporarily speechless, as my mind struggled to process the impossibility of what Amanda was describing. I had not accessed my savings account in over 2 weeks, and I certainly had not authorized any withdrawal of such magnitude. The $18,000 she referenced represented the entirety of my carefully accumulated down payment fund, money that had required years of disciplined saving and financial sacrifice to accumulate. Amanda continued explaining that the withdrawal had been processed through legitimate banking channels using valid account credentials, which meant that the transaction did not qualify as unauthorized access under the bank's fraud protection policies. The funds had been transferred to an external account at a different financial institution, making immediate recovery impossible without cooperation from the receiving bank and account holder. As the full implications of this information settled into my consciousness, a horrifying realization began to emerge. The only person besides myself who possessed access credentials for my savings account was Rachel. Information I had provided during the apartment flooding emergency 6 months earlier. The timing of this withdrawal, occurring during a period when I had been particularly busy with work commitments and had not been monitoring my account balances closely, suggested deliberate planning rather than impulsive action. Amanda explained that while the bank could investigate the circumstances surrounding the withdrawal, the legal and procedural requirements for recovering funds transferred through legitimate banking channels were complex and time-consuming. The fact that the transaction had been executed using valid credentials meant that I would need to file a police report alleging theft and pursue recovery through legal channels rather than banking fraud procedures. The conversation with Amanda concluded with her providing reference numbers for the investigation and instructions for documenting the unauthorized access for law enforcement purposes. She expressed sympathy for my situation while emphasizing that the bank's ability to assist would be limited by regulatory requirements and the technical legitimacy of the transaction itself. After ending the call, I sat at my desk in stunned silence, surrounded by the familiar environment of my professional life while grappling with the reality that my personal financial security had been completely undermined by someone I had trusted absolutely. The $18,000 represented far more than its monetary value. It symbolized years of sacrifice, discipline, and hope for a better future that had been stolen by the person I least expected to betray me. My immediate impulse was to contact Rachel directly and demand an explanation for what had occurred, but professional responsibilities and the shock of discovery made immediate action seem inadvisable. I needed time to process this betrayal and consider my response carefully, recognizing that the confrontation with Rachel would likely determine the future of our relationship and my prospects for recovering the stolen funds. The remainder of that workday passed in a haze of distraction and emotional turmoil as I attempted to maintain professional composure while internally processing the magnitude of Rachel's betrayal. Colleagues noticed my unusual demeanor and offered concerned inquiries about my well-being, but I deflected their questions with vague references to personal stress and family complications. Maria Santos, my supervisor and mentor, recognized that something significant was affecting my performance and requested a private conversation in her office during the late afternoon. Her genuine concern and professional discretion created a safe space for me to share the basic facts of what had occurred, though I omitted the specific details about Rachel's identity and our family relationship. Maria's response combined personal empathy with practical guidance born from her experience managing both professional responsibilities and personal crises. She emphasized that financial betrayal by trusted individuals was unfortunately common, and that my response to this situation would be crucial for both immediate recovery and long-term resilience. Her advice included documenting all available evidence related to the theft, consulting with legal professionals about recovery options, and maintaining focus on career responsibilities that would provide stability during a period of personal upheaval. Maria also suggested that this experience, while devastating, could become a catalyst for developing independence and strength that might ultimately benefit my personal and professional development. After work, I drove to my apartment in Capitol Hill, where the familiar surroundings provided little comfort against the emotional impact of discovering Rachel's betrayal. The space that had previously represented security and progress toward my goals now felt vulnerable and uncertain, as if the theft of my savings had undermined the foundation of everything I had been building in Denver. That evening, I began the systematic process of documenting the theft and exploring options for recovery. I contacted the Denver Police Department to file a report alleging theft by deception, providing all available information about the unauthorized access and fund transfer. The responding officer explained that cases involving family members and legitimate banking credentials presented complex challenges for law enforcement, but that official documentation would be necessary for any legal proceedings. I also contacted my homeowner's insurance company to determine whether theft of funds by a trusted individual might be covered under my policy provisions. The insurance representative explained that while my policy covered physical theft of property from my residence, electronic theft of funds from banking accounts fell outside their coverage parameters. The process of researching legal options revealed the complexity and expense associated with pursuing recovery of stolen funds through civil litigation. Initial consultations with attorneys specializing in theft and fraud cases indicated that successful recovery would require proving Rachel's intent to permanently deprive me of the funds and demonstrating that her access to my banking credentials did not constitute authorization for the withdrawal. These legal complexities, combined with the substantial costs associated with litigation and the uncertain prospects for successful recovery, created additional stress and frustration beyond the emotional impact of Rachel's betrayal. The system that should have protected me from financial crimes seemed inadequate for addressing theft committed by trusted family members using legitimate access methods. During this period of investigation and documentation, I avoided contact with Rachel while considering how to approach the inevitable confrontation. Part of me hoped that some explanation might justify her actions, or that she might voluntarily return the stolen funds. But the evidence suggested deliberate planning and deception that made such optimistic outcomes unlikely. The decision to confront Rachel directly rather than pursuing immediate legal action, reflected both my desire to understand her motivations and my recognition that family relationships, even damaged ones, deserved consideration before resorting to criminal prosecution. This approach also provided an opportunity to demand return of the funds without the complications and delays associated with legal proceedings. On Thursday evening, 2 days after discovering the theft, I drove to Rachel's house in Thornton for what I anticipated would be the most difficult conversation of my life. The suburban neighborhood appeared peaceful and ordinary, providing no external indication of the financial crimes and family betrayal that had occurred within one of these modest homes. Rachel answered the door with apparent surprise at my unexpected visit, though her reaction seemed to contain elements of nervousness that suggested awareness of why I might be there. She invited me inside with forced casualness that felt strained and artificial, as if she were performing normalcy while internally preparing for confrontation. The living room where we sat for this conversation was furnished with items that appeared suspiciously new and expensive, including a large flat-screen television and leather furniture that seemed inconsistent with Rachel and Kevin's typical financial constraints. These observations reinforced my suspicions about how my stolen savings had been utilized, though I had not yet discovered the most shocking evidence of Rachel's deception. I began the conversation by directly stating my knowledge of the $18,000 withdrawal from my savings account and asking Rachel to explain her actions. Her initial response involved claims of confusion and denial, suggesting that she had no knowledge of any unauthorized access to my banking accounts. However, when I presented specific details about the timing and method of the withdrawal, Rachel's demeanor shifted from confusion to defensive justification. She admitted to accessing my account but claimed that she had considered the funds to be available for family emergencies and had intended to repay the money after resolving her immediate financial crisis. Rachel's explanation for the emergency involved claims of medical expenses related to Kevin's construction injury and urgent home repairs that threatened their mortgage payments. She insisted that the access I had provided during my apartment flooding had created an understanding that my savings could be utilized for genuine family emergencies, and that her intentions had been honorable despite the lack of explicit permission. These justifications seemed plausible until I pressed for specific details about the medical expenses and home repairs that had supposedly necessitated such desperate measures. Rachel's responses became increasingly vague and contradictory, eventually revealing that the claimed emergency had been largely fabricated to justify her access to funds she wanted for other purposes. The conversation reached its most shocking moment when I asked Rachel directly about her plans for repaying the stolen money. Her response revealed the full extent of her betrayal and the calculated nature of her deception. Rather than expressing remorse or presenting a repayment plan, Rachel became defensive and accusatory, claiming that my financial success created obligations to support family members experiencing difficulties. She argued that my savings represented excess wealth that should be shared with family members who had greater needs, particularly given her responsibilities as a mother and the financial pressures associated with maintaining a household and supporting 2 children. Rachel's reasoning suggested that she viewed the theft not as a crime, but as a justified redistribution of family resources. This conversation revealed that Rachel had not only stolen my savings, but had rationalized her actions through a worldview that dismissed my financial discipline and minimized my right to control money I had earned and saved through personal sacrifice. Her attitude indicated no intention to return the funds and no recognition that her actions constituted theft rather than legitimate family assistance. The most devastating revelation came when I asked Rachel directly about her current financial situation and her ability to repay the stolen funds. Her response indicated that repayment would be impossible because the money had already been spent on various purchases and expenses that could not be easily reversed or liquidated. When I demanded specific information about how $18,000 could have been spent so quickly, Rachel's answers revealed the full scope of her deception and irresponsibility. Rather than addressing genuine emergencies, she had used my savings to purchase luxury items, pay off credit card debts, and fund lifestyle improvements that had no connection to the fabricated crisis she had originally claimed. The most infuriating detail emerged when Rachel mentioned, almost casually, that a portion of the funds had been used as a down payment on a new car for herself. While I had been saving for years to achieve home ownership and financial security, Rachel had stolen my down payment to purchase a vehicle that represented convenience rather than necessity. This conversation continued for over 2 hours, during which Rachel's responses shifted from denial to justification to anger at my demands for repayment. She accused me of being selfish and unsympathetic to family difficulties, suggesting that my focus on financial recovery demonstrated a lack of caring for her well-being and that of her children. The evening concluded with Rachel's adamant refusal to acknowledge the theft as criminal behavior or to commit to any repayment schedule. She maintained that her actions had been justified by family circumstances and that my response was disproportionate to the situation. Her final statement included a threat to deny me access to Emma and Tyler if I pursued legal action against her. Driving home from this confrontation, I experienced a complex mixture of emotions that included grief for the loss of my relationship with Rachel, anger at her betrayal and lack of remorse, and determination to pursue recovery of my stolen funds through whatever means necessary. The conversation had eliminated any possibility of voluntary resolution and made legal action inevitable. However, beneath these immediate emotional responses, I began to recognize something else emerging from this devastating experience. Rachel's betrayal had revealed the limitations of depending on others for support and validation, and had demonstrated the necessity of developing complete independence and self-reliance for achieving genuine security and success. The theft of my savings had destroyed my immediate plans for home ownership and forced a fundamental reevaluation of my financial strategy and life goals. But it had also liberated me from obligations and expectations that had been limiting my potential for growth and achievement. Rachel's betrayal would become the catalyst for the most transformative period of my life, though I could not yet imagine the extraordinary outcomes that would emerge from this devastating beginning. 3 days following my confrontation with Rachel represented the most crucial decision-making period of my adult life. During this time, I would determine whether to accept the role of victim that circumstances had thrust upon me, or to transform this devastating betrayal into the foundation for unprecedented personal and financial growth. The initial 24 hours after leaving Rachel's house were consumed by a complex emotional process that cycled through rage, grief, disbelief, and finally, a cold determination that surprised me with its intensity. I had never experienced such a profound violation of trust, and the psychological impact extended far beyond the financial loss itself. The $18,000 represented more than money in my personal ecosystem. Those funds embodied years of disciplined choices, countless evenings spent working freelance projects instead of socializing, weekends dedicated to additional income generation rather than leisure activities, and a systematic approach to financial management that had required consistent sacrifice of immediate gratification for long-term security. Rachel's theft had not merely stolen my savings, it had violated the fundamental principles that governed my approach to life and relationships. The betrayal challenged every assumption I had maintained about family loyalty, personal integrity, and the reasonable expectations one could hold regarding trusted relationships. However, as the initial shock subsided and rational analysis replaced emotional reaction, I began to recognize that this crisis presented an extraordinary opportunity for transformation that would never have emerged under normal circumstances. The comfortable, predictable trajectory I had been following toward modest home ownership and gradual career advancement had been completely disrupted, creating space for possibilities I had never previously considered. The first strategic decision involved determining my approach to legal recovery of the stolen funds. After extensive consultation with attorneys specializing in theft and fraud cases, I concluded that civil litigation would be expensive, time-consuming, and unlikely to result in meaningful financial recovery given Rachel's limited assets and employment situation. Criminal prosecution presented similar challenges, as law enforcement resources for financial crimes involving family members were limited, and successful prosecution would require proving intent to permanently deprive me of the funds. The complexity of establishing criminal intent when legitimate access credentials had been used created additional obstacles that made conviction uncertain. More importantly, I realized that focusing energy and resources on recovery efforts would perpetuate my role as victim and delay the transformation I was beginning to envision. Rather than remaining anchored to the past and the money that had been stolen, I chose to direct my attention toward creating far greater financial success in the future. This decision represented a fundamental shift in perspective that would prove crucial for everything that followed. Instead of attempting to recover $18,000 through legal proceedings that might consume years of effort and thousands of dollars in attorney fees, I committed to building wealth that would make the stolen amount seem insignificant by comparison. The second strategic decision concerned my relationship with Rachel and the broader family dynamics that had enabled her betrayal. The confrontation had revealed that Rachel felt entitled to my financial resources and viewed my success as creating obligations to support her lifestyle choices and financial mismanagement. This worldview was incompatible with the independence and self-reliance I needed to develop for achieving genuine financial security. Continuing to maintain close family relationships that included expectations of financial support would undermine my ability to accumulate wealth and would perpetuate patterns of dependency that had contributed to the current crisis. I made the difficult decision to establish clear boundaries with Rachel and other family members that would protect my financial resources and emotional energy from further exploitation. This approach required accepting that family relationships might be permanently damaged, but I recognized that preserving relationships built on financial dependency and emotional manipulation would prevent the personal growth necessary for achieving my evolving goals. The third strategic decision involved completely reevaluating my career trajectory and income generation strategy. My position as a graphic designer at Creative Solutions Denver provided stability and steady income growth, but the theft had demonstrated the vulnerability of depending on a single income source and traditional employment structures for financial security. Rachel's betrayal had created an immediate financial emergency that required innovative solutions and accelerated income generation. The comfortable timeline I had previously maintained for gradual career advancement and modest salary increases was no longer adequate for my circumstances or my newly expanded ambitions. I began researching opportunities for dramatic income increase through entrepreneurial ventures, freelance consulting, and strategic career transitions that could leverage my existing skills while providing exponentially greater earning potential. This research revealed possibilities I had never seriously considered during my previous focus on steady employment and incremental progress. The marketing and branding expertise I had developed through my agency work provided a foundation for consulting services that could command significantly higher hourly rates than my current salary. The client relationships and industry knowledge I had accumulated represented valuable assets that could be monetized through independent practice rather than employment by others. Additionally, the digital marketing landscape was evolving rapidly, creating opportunities for specialists who could help businesses navigate new platforms and strategies for customer acquisition. My technical skills and creative background positioned me to capitalize on these emerging market opportunities through specialized service offerings. The fourth strategic decision concerned my living situation and lifestyle expenses. The theft had eliminated my down payment savings and made home ownership impossible in the immediate future. But this constraint created an opportunity to optimize my housing costs for maximum financial flexibility during the wealth-building phase I was planning. I researched rental options that would minimize my housing expenses while providing the workspace and professional environment necessary for launching independent consulting operations. This analysis revealed that strategic downsizing could reduce my monthly expenses by approximately $800, funds that could be redirected toward business development and accelerated savings accumulation. The lifestyle adjustments required for this optimization would be significant but temporary, representing tactical sacrifices that would enable strategic gains. Rather than viewing these changes as hardships imposed by Rachel's theft, I chose to frame them as intentional choices that would accelerate my progress toward financial independence. During this decision-making period, I also conducted extensive research into wealth-building strategies and entrepreneurial success stories that could provide guidance for the transformation I was planning. This research revealed patterns among individuals who had achieved significant financial success through strategic risk-taking and systematic business development. The most successful entrepreneurs had typically experienced catalytic events that forced them to abandon comfortable but limiting circumstances and pursue opportunities they might not have considered under normal conditions. Financial crises, job losses, and personal betrayals were common themes in the backgrounds of individuals who had built substantial businesses and achieved dramatic income increases. This pattern suggested that Rachel's betrayal, while devastating in the immediate term, could provide the motivation and urgency necessary for achieving outcomes that would far exceed the comfortable but modest progress I had been making through traditional employment. The theft had created both necessity and opportunity for pursuing wealth creation strategies that required complete commitment and tolerance for significant risk. The research also revealed that successful transitions from employment to entrepreneurship typically required systematic preparation, including skill development, market analysis, client acquisition strategies, and financial planning that could sustain business development during the initial periods when income might be irregular or insufficient. I developed a comprehensive plan for this transition that would enable me to maintain current employment while building independent consulting capacity, gradually shifting my income sources from salary dependence to entrepreneurial revenue generation. This approach would minimize financial risk while maximizing the potential for dramatic income growth. The plan included specific timelines for client acquisition, service development, pricing strategies, and the eventual transition to full-time independent practice. I calculated that successful implementation could increase my annual income by 3 to 5 times within 18 months, providing both immediate financial recovery and long-term wealth accumulation that would exceed anything possible through traditional employment. The fifth strategic decision involved establishing new financial management systems that would protect future wealth from similar betrayals while maximizing growth potential. The theft had revealed vulnerabilities in my previous approach to banking and account security that required immediate correction. I researched advanced banking security measures, investment strategies, and wealth protection techniques used by high-net-worth individuals to safeguard their assets from both external threats and internal family pressures. This research provided insights into sophisticated financial structures that could prevent unauthorized access while optimizing growth and tax efficiency. I also investigated business formation strategies that could provide liability protection, tax advantages, and professional credibility for the consulting services I planned to offer. The legal structures used by successful consultants and service providers offered models for protecting personal assets while enabling business development and client acquisition. The final strategic decision concerned my personal development and skill enhancement during this transition period. The consulting services I planned to offer would require expertise beyond my current capabilities, necessitating intensive learning and professional development that could be completed while maintaining my existing employment. I identified specific areas where additional expertise would provide competitive advantages and enable premium pricing for my services. These included advanced digital marketing strategies, data analytics, customer relationship management systems, and emerging technologies that were reshaping how businesses approached marketing and brand development. The learning plan I developed included online certification programs, industry conferences, networking events, and mentorship relationships that could accelerate my expertise development while building the professional network necessary for successful client acquisition. This investment in personal development would require significant time and financial resources, but represented essential preparation for the business launch I was planning. By the end of this 3-day decision-making period, I had transformed from a victim of financial theft into a strategic architect of personal and professional transformation. The plan I had developed was comprehensive, ambitious, and designed to generate outcomes that would make Rachel's betrayal seem like an inadvertent favor rather than a devastating setback. The emotional journey from devastation to determination had been intense and challenging, but it had produced clarity about my priorities and capabilities that might never have emerged under normal circumstances. Rachel's theft had forced me to confront the limitations of my previous approach to career and wealth building, creating space for possibilities that exceeded every goal I had previously considered achievable. The implementation of this transformation plan would require complete commitment, tolerance for uncertainty, and willingness to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term success. However, the alternative of remaining in the comfortable but limiting circumstances that had made me vulnerable to betrayal was no longer acceptable. I recognized that this decision point represented a fundamental choice between two entirely different approaches to life and success. I could choose safety, predictability, and gradual progress through traditional employment, or I could choose risk, uncertainty, and the potential for extraordinary achievement through entrepreneurial venture creation. Rachel's betrayal had made the choice clear. The path of safety and tradition had led to vulnerability and victimization. The path of risk and innovation offered the possibility of financial independence and personal fulfillment that would render future betrayals impossible and irrelevant. On Thursday evening, exactly 1 week after discovering the theft, I submitted my resignation letter to Creative Solutions Denver, effective in 30 days. This action represented the point of no return for the transformation I had planned. There would be no comfortable fallback position, no guaranteed income, and no safety net other than the skills, knowledge, and determination I possessed. Maria Santos received my resignation with surprise and concern, as my departure would create immediate challenges for client management and project completion. However, when I explained my plans for independent consulting practice, her response shifted to enthusiasm and support for the opportunities I would be pursuing. Maria's encouragement provided important validation for the risks I was taking and the potential I was attempting to realize. Her professional assessment of my capabilities and market opportunities reinforced my confidence in the transformation plan I had developed. More importantly, she offered to serve as a reference for potential clients and to recommend my services to businesses that might benefit from independent marketing and branding consultation. This conversation with Maria marked the transition from planning to implementation of the most ambitious undertaking of my life. The comfortable identity I had maintained as a reliable employee with steady income and predictable responsibilities was about to be replaced by the uncertainty and potential of entrepreneurial venture creation. The transformation that Rachel's betrayal had initiated was no longer theoretical or aspirational. It had become the defining reality that would determine the trajectory of my future success and the ultimate meaning of the devastating experience that had catalyzed this extraordinary journey toward financial independence and personal fulfillment. The 30-day notice period at Creative Solutions Denver became the most intensive preparation phase of my professional life, as I systematically converted theoretical planning into operational reality while maintaining excellence in my existing responsibilities. This transition period required extraordinary discipline and strategic execution, transforming every available hour into productive advancement toward the entrepreneurial future I was constructing. My approach to this preparation phase reflected lessons learned from studying successful business transitions and entrepreneurial launches. Rather than approaching the change as an abrupt departure from stable employment to uncertain self-employment, I designed a systematic process that would maximize my chances of immediate success while minimizing the financial risks associated with independent practice. The first priority involved establishing the legal and operational infrastructure necessary for conducting business as an independent consultant. This process required extensive research into business formation strategies, professional licensing, requirements, insurance considerations, and administrative systems that would support client service delivery and financial management. After consulting with business attorneys and accountants who specialized in service-based enterprises, I determined that forming a limited liability company would provide optimal protection for personal assets while enabling flexible tax strategies and professional credibility. The LLC structure would allow me to operate under a business name that conveyed expertise and specialization while protecting my personal finances from potential business liabilities. The business name selection process revealed important strategic considerations about market positioning and brand development. After extensive research into naming strategies used by successful consulting firms, I chose Pinnacle Brand Solutions as the company name, reflecting both the premium positioning I intended to establish and the comprehensive nature of the services I would provide. The name suggested expertise in helping businesses reach peak performance through strategic branding and marketing initiatives, while avoiding generic terms that would position the company as a commodity service provider. This naming decision represented the first tangible step toward establishing market presence and professional credibility in the competitive consulting landscape. The legal formation process included developing comprehensive service agreements, intellectual property protections, and liability limitations that would govern client relationships and project deliverables. These documents required careful attention to industry standards and legal requirements that would protect both client interests and business operations from potential disputes or misunderstandings. The administrative infrastructure development included establishing dedicated business banking accounts, accounting systems, project management software, and communication platforms that would enable professional client service delivery. This infrastructure represented significant initial investment, but provided the foundation for scalable business operations that could accommodate rapid growth. The most critical aspect of this preparation involved developing detailed service offerings and pricing strategies that would differentiate Pinnacle Brand Solutions from competitive alternatives while maximizing revenue potential. This process required extensive market research and competitive analysis to identify opportunities for premium positioning and value creation. My research revealed that the consulting market contained significant gaps between basic service providers who competed primarily on price and high-end strategy firms that served only large corporate clients. Mid-market businesses frequently struggled to access sophisticated branding and marketing expertise that could drive meaningful growth without requiring enterprise-level investment. This market analysis identified a substantial opportunity for specialized consulting services that combined strategic sophistication with practical implementation support, addressing the specific needs of growing businesses that required expert guidance but could not justify the expense of traditional management. Consulting arrangements. The service portfolio I developed included brand strategy development, digital marketing optimization, customer acquisition system design, and marketing technology implementation. Each service area represented expertise I had developed through agency experience while addressing specific market needs that commanded premium pricing from qualified providers. The pricing strategy reflected extensive research into consulting fee structures and value-based pricing methodologies used by successful, independent professionals. Rather than competing on hourly rates, I positioned services as investment opportunities that would generate measurable returns for client businesses through improved market performance and customer acquisition. The value proposition emphasized measurable outcomes and systematic approaches to marketing challenges that would differentiate client businesses from their competitors while providing sustainable competitive advantages. This positioning strategy enabled premium pricing while creating client relationships based on results achievement rather than time expenditure. During this preparation phase, I also invested substantial time and resources in advanced professional development that would enhance my expertise and credibility with prospective clients. This education included certification programs in digital marketing analytics, customer relationship management systems, and emerging marketing technologies that were reshaping client acquisition strategies. The learning process involved intensive study of successful marketing campaigns, business growth strategies, and consulting methodologies that had produced exceptional results for service providers and their clients. This research provided insights into best practices and innovative approaches that would inform my own service delivery and client success strategies. Simultaneously, I began systematic networking activities designed to build awareness of my emerging consulting practice and establish relationships with potential clients and referral sources. This networking strategy included participation in industry associations, business development events, and professional organizations that connected service providers with prospective clients. The networking process revealed important insights about market dynamics and client needs that informed refinements to my service offerings and positioning strategy. Business owners consistently expressed frustration with marketing service providers who promised significant results but failed to deliver measurable improvements in customer acquisition or revenue generation. This market feedback validated my decision to emphasize results-oriented consulting relationships and systematic approaches to marketing challenges that would produce quantifiable improvements in client business performance. The emphasis on accountability and measurement would differentiate my services from providers who focused on activity rather than outcomes. The most challenging aspect of this preparation involved building sufficient financial reserves to sustain business operations and personal expenses during the initial months when client acquisition and revenue generation would be uncertain. The theft of my savings had eliminated the financial cushion I had originally planned to support this transition, requiring creative approaches to resource management and income generation. I developed a comprehensive financial plan that included reduced living expenses, strategic use of business credit facilities, and accelerated client acquisition activities that would minimize the period between business launch and positive cash flow generation. This plan required careful balance between aggressive growth initiatives and prudent risk management that would prevent financial crisis during the vulnerable startup phase. The expense reduction strategy included relocating to a more affordable apartment that provided dedicated workspace for business operations while reducing monthly housing costs by approximately $600. The new location offered fiber internet connectivity, professional environment, and convenient access to business districts where potential clients were located. The relocation process provided an opportunity to optimize my living situation for business success while eliminating expenses that were not aligned with my immediate priorities. This optimization included selling furniture and possessions that were not essential for business operations, generating additional cash that could support business development activities. The credit facility strategy involved establishing business credit lines that could provide temporary working capital during client acquisition phases while preserving personal financial stability during periods of irregular income. This approach required careful management to avoid excessive debt accumulation while maintaining flexibility for growth investment opportunities. As my final weeks at Creative Solutions Denver progressed, I accelerated client prospecting activities, using industry contacts and professional relationships that had been developed through agency work. This outreach process involved systematic identification of businesses that could benefit from specialized marketing consulting while possessing sufficient resources to invest in professional services. The prospecting strategy emphasized warm introductions and referral relationships rather than cold outreach, leveraging existing credibility and professional reputation to generate initial client opportunities. This approach proved more effective than traditional marketing methods and created higher quality leads that were more likely to convert to paying clients. Maria Santos provided exceptional support during this transition by introducing me to several business owners who had previously inquired about independent marketing consulting services that the agency could not provide. These introductions created immediate opportunities for client development, while demonstrating the market demand for specialized consulting services. The first serious client prospect emerged through Maria's referral network during my final week at the agency. Jonathan Mitchell owned a growing technology consulting firm that had experienced rapid revenue growth but struggled with marketing consistency and brand positioning that could support continued expansion. Jonathan's business represented the ideal client profile I had identified through market research. The company generated sufficient revenue to invest in professional marketing consulting, but lacked internal expertise to develop sophisticated branding and customer acquisition strategies. His immediate needs aligned precisely with the service capabilities I had developed. The initial consultation with Jonathan provided validation for the business concept I had developed and confirmed the market opportunity for specialized consulting services. His enthusiasm for the strategic approach I presented and willingness to invest in comprehensive marketing development indicated that other similar opportunities existed in the market. The consulting proposal I developed for Jonathan's company became the template for future client engagements and demonstrated the value creation potential that would justify premium pricing for specialized services. The project scope included brand strategy development, website optimization, digital marketing system implementation, and customer acquisition process design. The financial terms of this engagement would generate more revenue in 3 months than I had previously earned in 6 months of agency employment, validating the income potential that had motivated my transition to independent practice. This project alone would provide sufficient cash flow to sustain business operations while pursuing additional client opportunities. The successful completion of my transition from agency employment to independent consulting represented more than career advancement or income increase. This transformation demonstrated that devastating setbacks could become catalysts for extraordinary achievement when approached with strategic thinking, systematic preparation, and unwavering commitment to long-term success. Rachel's betrayal had forced me to abandon comfortable but limiting circumstances and pursue opportunities that required complete dedication and tolerance for significant risk. The theft of my savings had eliminated the safety net that might have prevented me from attempting such ambitious goals, creating necessity that became the foundation for unprecedented achievement. The business infrastructure I had established during this transition period would support rapid scaling as client success and referral generation created additional opportunities for growth. The systematic approach to service delivery and results measurement would ensure client satisfaction while building reputation that could command increasing premium positioning in the consulting market. More importantly, this transition had revealed capabilities and potential that would never have emerged under normal circumstances. The combination of strategic thinking, systematic execution, and determined persistence required for successful entrepreneurial venture creation had transformed my understanding of what was possible through focused effort and intelligent risk-taking. The final day at Creative Solutions, Denver represented the end of one chapter and the beginning of another, but the transformation it symbolized extended far beyond simple career change. I was no longer the person who had been vulnerable to Rachel's betrayal, dependent on others for financial security, or limited by conventional expectations about professional advancement. The entrepreneur who emerged from this preparation phase possessed skills, knowledge, and determination that could generate wealth far exceeding anything that had been stolen. The systematic approach to business development and client service excellence would create sustainable competitive advantages that could support continuous growth and expansion into new market opportunities. Rachel's theft of $18,000 would prove to be the most expensive mistake she ever made, not because of legal consequences or family relationship damage, but because it had awakened potential that would eventually generate millions of dollars in value creation. The betrayal that was intended to solve her temporary financial problems would ultimately demonstrate the extraordinary results that emerge when crisis becomes the catalyst for systematic transformation and strategic achievement. The launch of Pinnacle Brand Solutions occurred on a Monday morning in early May, marking the transition from preparation to active business operations that would validate every strategic decision I had made during the preceding months. The first day of independent practice brought a combination of exhilaration and apprehension that reflected the magnitude of the transformation I had undertaken since discovering Rachel's betrayal. My new office space, carved from the second bedroom of my downsized apartment, had been meticulously organized to support professional client interactions and productive work sessions. The space featured high-quality video conferencing equipment, professional lighting, and carefully selected background elements that conveyed expertise and credibility during virtual client meetings. The physical environment represented more than functional workspace. It symbolized the professional identity I was constructing as an independent consultant capable of delivering sophisticated strategic services to growing businesses. Every element had been chosen to reinforce the premium positioning that would differentiate Pinnacle Brand Solutions from commodity service providers competing primarily on price. The first week of operations focused on finalizing the engagement with Jonathan Mitchell's technology consulting firm, a project that would serve as both immediate revenue source and proof of concept for the service delivery methodology I had developed. The comprehensive nature of this initial engagement would test every aspect of my business systems while providing measurable results that could support future client acquisition efforts. Jonathan's company, Tech Advantage Consulting, had experienced rapid growth over the previous 18 months, but lacked the marketing sophistication necessary to sustain expansion in an increasingly competitive market. The business generated approximately $2 million in annual revenue through referral relationships and word-of-mouth marketing, but possessed no systematic approach to customer acquisition or brand development. The initial assessment phase revealed significant opportunities for improvement across multiple dimensions of Tech Advantage's marketing operations. The company's website failed to communicate value propositions effectively, their service offerings lacked clear differentiation from competitors, and their customer acquisition processes depended entirely on passive referral generation rather than proactive business development. My analysis identified 7 specific areas where strategic improvements could generate measurable increases in customer acquisition rates and average project values. These opportunities included brand positioning refinement, website optimization, content marketing system development, search engine optimization enhancement, social media presence establishment, referral program systematization, and customer relationship management implementation. The comprehensive nature of these improvement opportunities validated my decision to position Pinnacle Brand Solutions as a strategic partner rather than a tactical service provider. The scope of work required to address Tech Advantage's marketing challenges would demonstrate the value creation potential that justified premium pricing while establishing credibility for future client engagements. The project plan I developed for Tech Advantage included specific deliverables, measurable outcomes, and implementation timelines that would ensure successful results while providing clear accountability for both parties. This systematic approach reflected best practices from successful consulting engagements, while incorporating innovations that would differentiate my service delivery from traditional marketing consultants. The brand positioning work began with extensive research into Tech Advantage's competitive landscape and customer base, revealing opportunities for differentiation that had been invisible to Jonathan and his team. Through systematic analysis of competitor positioning and customer feedback, I identified unique value propositions that could command premium pricing while attracting higher quality clients. The research process included detailed interviews with Tech Advantage's existing clients to understand their decision-making criteria, satisfaction factors, and unmet needs that could inform service enhancement and positioning strategies. These insights provided the foundation for messaging frameworks that would resonate with target prospects while highlighting capabilities that competitors could not match. The website optimization project demonstrated the immediate impact that strategic marketing improvements could generate for client businesses. Within 2 weeks of implementing the redesigned site structure and enhanced content strategy, Tech Advantage experienced a 47% increase in qualified lead generation through organic search traffic. The transformation included complete reconstruction of the site's information architecture, implementation of conversion optimization techniques, and development of educational content that positioned Tech Advantage as thought leaders in their specialized technology domains. The results exceeded both Jonathan's expectations and my own projections for initial performance improvements. More importantly, the website project established a methodology for measuring and optimizing marketing performance that could be applied to future client engagements. The systematic approach to performance tracking and continuous improvement provided competitive advantages that would differentiate Pinnacle brand solutions from providers who relied on subjective assessments rather than quantitative results. The content marketing system I developed for Tech Advantage created a sustainable competitive advantage through thought leadership positioning and systematic customer education. The strategy included weekly blog publication, monthly white paper, development, quarterly industry report creation, and ongoing social media engagement that would establish Jonathan's team as recognized experts in their field. The content strategy reflected extensive research into the information needs and consumption preferences of Tech Advantage's target customers, ensuring that educational materials would attract qualified prospects while supporting the sales process. Through credibility building and expertise demonstration, this approach transformed marketing from expense to investment by creating assets that would generate long-term value. The implementation of this content strategy required development of editorial calendars, content production workflows, and performance measurement systems that could sustain consistent publication while maintaining quality standards. The systematic approach enabled scalable content creation that would support business growth without requiring proportional increases in marketing resource allocation. The search engine optimization enhancements generated dramatic improvements in Tech Advantage's online visibility within 60 days of implementation. The strategic approach to keyword optimization, technical site improvements, and authority building resulted in first-page rankings for 12 high-value search terms that potential clients used when seeking technology consulting services. These ranking improvements translated directly into increased website traffic and qualified lead generation that exceeded Tech Advantage's previous customer acquisition rates by over 200%. The measurable impact of SEO optimization provided compelling evidence for the value creation potential of strategic marketing investment. The social media presence establishment created additional channels for customer engagement and thought leadership positioning that complemented the content marketing and website optimization initiatives. The integrated approach to social media marketing included LinkedIn thought leadership, Twitter industry engagement, and strategic participation in online communities where target customers gathered for professional networking and information sharing. The referral program systematization transformed Tech Advantage's informal word-of-mouth marketing into a structured system for generating qualified prospects through existing customer relationships. The program included incentive structures, communication templates, and tracking systems that encouraged active referral participation while ensuring appropriate recognition for referring parties. The implementation of customer relationship management systems provided Tech Advantage with sophisticated tools for managing prospect interactions, tracking sales pipeline development, and optimizing conversion rates through systematic follow-up and nurturing activities. The CRM integration created visibility into marketing performance and sales effectiveness that enabled continuous improvement of customer acquisition processes. The comprehensive nature of the Tech Advantage engagement provided multiple opportunities to demonstrate expertise while generating measurable results that exceeded client expectations. Within 90 days of project commencement, Jonathan's company had experienced a 137% increase in qualified lead generation and a 62% improvement in average project values. These results translated into additional annual revenue of approximately $450,000 for Tech Advantage, providing return on marketing investment that far exceeded the fees paid for consulting services. The financial impact created enthusiastic client satisfaction while establishing credibility for future business development efforts. The success of the Tech Advantage engagement generated immediate referral opportunities, as Jonathan enthusiastically recommended Pinnacle brand solutions to business associates who were experiencing similar marketing challenges. Within 30 days of completing the initial project phase, I had received inquiries from 4 additional prospects who were interested in comprehensive marketing consulting services. The referral pattern validated the strategic decision to focus on client success and measurable results rather than maximizing short-term revenue through multiple simultaneous engagements. The emphasis on excellence and accountability created sustainable competitive advantages that would support long-term business growth through satisfied client advocacy. The second client engagement emerged through Jonathan's referral network when Rebecca Martinez, owner of a growing architectural firm, sought consultation regarding brand positioning and customer acquisition strategy development. Her business, Martinez Design Studio, had achieved success in residential projects, but struggled to expand into commercial architecture markets that offered higher project values and more stable revenue streams. The initial consultation with Rebecca revealed marketing challenges that were similar to those I had addressed for Tech Advantage, but required specialized approaches that reflected the unique characteristics of architectural services marketing. The complexity of architectural decision-making processes and the relationship-based nature of project acquisition required sophisticated strategies that traditional marketing consultants were not equipped to address. Rebecca's engagement provided an opportunity to demonstrate the adaptability of my consulting methodology while developing specialized expertise in professional services marketing that could support future business development in similar industry segments. The project scope included competitive analysis, target market research, positioning strategy development, and comprehensive marketing system implementation. The architectural industry research revealed significant opportunities for differentiation through specialized expertise positioning and systematic relationship building with commercial real estate developers, general contractors, and corporate facilities managers. These insights informed strategy development that would enable Martinez Design Studio to command premium pricing while attracting higher quality projects. The third client opportunity originated through professional networking activities when I encountered David Chen, founder of a rapidly growing software development company that needed marketing expertise to support expansion into enterprise market segments. His business, Quantum Software Solutions, had successfully served small and medium-sized businesses but lacked the marketing sophistication necessary for competing in enterprise sales environments. David's challenges represented the most complex marketing consulting opportunity I had encountered, requiring expertise in enterprise sales processes, complex decision-making dynamics, and sophisticated marketing automation systems. The engagement would test my capabilities while providing opportunities to develop specialized knowledge that could support future business expansion into high-value consulting markets. The simultaneous management of multiple client engagements required systematic project management and resource allocation that would ensure excellent service delivery while maintaining the quality standards that generated client satisfaction and referral opportunities. This operational challenge provided valuable experience in business scaling that would support future growth initiatives. The financial performance of Pinnacle Brand Solutions during the first 90 days of operations exceeded every projection I had developed during the business planning phase. Total revenue of $67,000 represented income levels that surpassed my previous annual salary at Creative Solutions Denver, validating the economic potential of independent consulting practice. More importantly, the client success stories and referral generation patterns indicated sustainable competitive advantages that could support continuous business growth without dependence on traditional marketing and advertising expenditures. The emphasis on measurable results and client advocacy created self-reinforcing success cycles that would compound over time. The transformation from unemployed theft victim to successful entrepreneur generating premium consulting fees had occurred within 6 months of discovering Rachel's betrayal. The strategic approach to crisis management and opportunity creation had produced outcomes that far exceeded the financial losses that had initially seemed devastating. The business success also provided psychological validation for the difficult decisions I had made regarding family relationships and risk tolerance. The choice to prioritize independence and self-reliance over comfortable employment had been vindicated through measurable achievement that demonstrated the extraordinary potential that emerges when crisis becomes the catalyst for systematic transformation. Rachel's theft of $18,000 had inadvertently provided the motivation and urgency necessary for achieving success that would have been impossible under normal circumstances. The betrayal that was intended to solve her temporary financial problems had created the foundation for wealth generation that would soon exceed her annual household income on a monthly basis. The foundation I had established through systematic business development and client success would support exponential growth as reputation and referral generation created increasing opportunities for premium consulting engagements. The methodology I had developed for delivering measurable results could be systematized and scaled to serve additional clients while maintaining the quality standards that generated extraordinary outcomes. The success of Pinnacle Brand Solutions represented more than business achievement. It demonstrated the transformation of personal identity from victim to victor through strategic thinking, systematic execution, and unwavering commitment to excellence. The entrepreneur who had emerged from Rachel's betrayal possessed capabilities and confidence that would support continuous growth and increasing levels of success. The fourth quarter of my first year as an independent consultant marked the transition from individual project success to systematic business operations that could support exponential growth without compromising service quality. The foundation established through initial client engagements had validated my business model while revealing opportunities for strategic expansion that would transform Pinnacle Brand Solutions from a solo consultancy into a comprehensive marketing services enterprise. The success patterns emerging from my early client work demonstrated clear market demand for specialized consulting services that combined strategic thinking with practical implementation support. The measurable results generated for Tech Advantage Consulting, Martinez Design Studio, and Quantum Software Solutions had created a portfolio of case studies that attracted increasingly sophisticated prospects while enabling premium pricing for complex engagements. The referral generation process had become self-sustaining, with satisfied clients consistently recommending my services to business associates who faced similar marketing challenges. This organic growth pattern eliminated the need for traditional marketing expenditures while ensuring that new prospects arrived with realistic expectations and genuine commitment to investing in professional marketing consultation. The financial performance metrics indicated that systematic scaling would be both feasible and necessary to capitalize on expanding market opportunities. Monthly revenue had stabilized at approximately $28,000, representing an annual income trajectory that exceeded my previous employment compensation by more than 300%. However, the demand for services had begun to exceed my individual capacity for project delivery. The capacity constraints created an opportunity to implement strategic changes that would enable business growth while maintaining the quality standards that generated client satisfaction and referral opportunities. The solution required developing systematic processes and potentially adding team members who could support service delivery without diluting the expertise and accountability that differentiated my consulting approach. The systematic process development began with comprehensive documentation of the methodologies I had refined through successful client engagements. The strategic frameworks, research techniques, implementation protocols, and measurement systems that generated consistent results needed to be codified in ways that could be taught to additional team members while preserving the intellectual property that provided competitive advantages. The documentation process revealed the sophisticated nature of the consulting methodology I had developed through practical experience and continuous refinement. The systematic approach to client assessment, strategy development, implementation, planning, and results measurement represented intellectual capital that could support business expansion while protecting proprietary methods from competitive replication. The client assessment framework included structured processes for analyzing competitive landscapes, identifying differentiation opportunities, evaluating existing marketing effectiveness, and prioritizing improvement initiatives based on potential, impact, and resource requirements. This systematic approach ensured comprehensive understanding of client situations while enabling efficient project scoping and accurate outcome projections. The strategy development methodology incorporated proven frameworks for positioning strategy, target market analysis, messaging optimization, and channel selection that could be applied across various industries while accounting for specific business characteristics and market dynamics. The adaptable nature of these frameworks enabled consistent service quality while addressing unique client requirements. The implementation planning system included project management protocols, communication procedures, quality assurance measures, and performance tracking mechanisms that ensured successful project execution, regardless of complexity or duration. These systematic approaches to project delivery protected both client interests and business reputation, while enabling scalable operations. The results measurement protocols incorporated quantitative metrics, qualitative assessments, and comparative analyses that demonstrated marketing investment returns while identifying opportunities for continuous improvement. The systematic approach to performance evaluation provided accountability that justified premium pricing while building client confidence in ongoing consulting relationships. The team expansion strategy required careful consideration of the expertise and cultural characteristics necessary for maintaining service excellence while supporting business growth. The addition of team members represented both opportunity for increased capacity and risk of quality dilution that could undermine the reputation and referral generation that drove business success. After extensive evaluation of potential team structures and hiring strategies, I determined that the optimal approach involved recruiting experienced marketing professionals who possessed complementary skills while sharing commitment to client success and systematic service delivery. The team expansion would focus on specialized expertise areas that could enhance service offerings while maintaining unified quality standards. The first team addition involved recruiting Lisa Thompson, a digital marketing specialist with extensive experience in marketing automation, analytics implementation, and performance optimization. Lisa's background in data-driven marketing complemented my strategic consulting expertise, while providing technical capabilities that could enhance service offerings for clients requiring sophisticated digital marketing solutions. Lisa's integration into Pinnacle Brand Solutions required developing collaborative workflows, establishing quality assurance procedures, and creating communication protocols that maintained client service excellence while enabling efficient project coordination. The systematic approach to team integration ensured seamless service delivery while preserving the accountability standards that generated client satisfaction. The second team addition involved partnering with Marcus Rodriguez, a content marketing expert who possessed exceptional writing abilities and deep understanding of content strategy development across multiple industries. Marcus's expertise enabled expansion of content marketing services while maintaining the quality standards that generated measurable results for client businesses. The team expansion process included comprehensive training on proprietary methodologies, client service standards, and quality assurance procedures that would ensure consistent service delivery, regardless of which team members were involved in specific project components. This systematic approach to capability development protected intellectual property while enabling scalable operations. The service offering expansion reflected both enhanced team capabilities and market opportunities identified through client feedback and competitive analysis. The addition of specialized team members enabled development of advanced service packages that addressed complex marketing challenges while commanding premium pricing for sophisticated strategic consulting. The expanded service portfolio included comprehensive digital transformation consulting for established businesses seeking to modernize their marketing approaches, startup marketing strategy development for emerging businesses requiring systematic customer acquisition processes, and enterprise marketing optimization for large organizations needing specialized expertise in complex market environments. The digital transformation consulting services addressed the needs of traditional businesses that required systematic approaches to digital marketing channel development, technology implementation, and performance measurement systems. These comprehensive engagements typically involved 6 to 12-month commitments with substantial monthly retainers that provided stable revenue while enabling deep client relationship development. The startup marketing strategy services focused on emerging businesses that needed systematic approaches to brand development, customer acquisition, and scalable growth processes. These engagements required specialized understanding of startup dynamics and resource constraints while providing frameworks for sustainable marketing success as businesses evolved and expanded. The enterprise marketing optimization services addressed complex organizational challenges that required sophisticated understanding of large-scale marketing operations, multi-channel integration, and advanced measurement systems. These high-value engagements commanded premium pricing while providing opportunities to develop expertise in complex business environments. The pricing strategy evolution reflected both enhanced service capabilities and proven track record of generating measurable results for client businesses. The transition from project-based pricing to value-based retainer relationships provided more predictable revenue while enabling deeper client relationships and more comprehensive strategic support. The retainer pricing model included monthly fees ranging from $8,000 to $25,000, depending on engagement scope and client size, with additional project fees for specific deliverables or intensive implementation phases. This pricing structure generated consistent monthly revenue while providing flexibility for addressing evolving client needs. The client portfolio expansion included strategic targeting of businesses that could benefit from comprehensive marketing, consulting while possessing sufficient resources to invest in professional services. The systematic client acquisition process focused on warm referrals and strategic networking, rather than traditional marketing activities that would require significant time and resource investment. The referral generation system had evolved into a structured process that included systematic follow-up with satisfied clients, strategic relationship building with complementary service providers, and participation in professional organizations where target prospects gathered for networking and education. This approach generated high-quality leads while building professional reputation and industry credibility. The professional development initiatives included continuous learning about emerging marketing trends, advanced certification in specialized areas, and strategic networking with industry leaders who could provide insights into market opportunities and best practices. This commitment to expertise enhancement ensured that service offerings remained current and competitive while building credibility with sophisticated prospects. The technology infrastructure expansion included implementation of advanced project management systems, client communication platforms, performance measurement tools, and business intelligence solutions that supported efficient operations while providing superior client service experiences. These investments enabled scalable operations while maintaining the personalized attention that generated client satisfaction. The financial management systems included sophisticated accounting procedures, cash flow optimization strategies, and investment planning that supported business growth while building long-term wealth. The systematic approach to financial management ensured business stability while enabling strategic investments in growth opportunities and capability enhancement. The business performance metrics indicated exceptional success across all relevant dimensions during the first year of operations. Total revenue exceeded $240,000, representing growth that validated every strategic decision made since discovering Rachel's betrayal. More importantly, client satisfaction scores and referral generation rates indicated sustainable competitive advantages that would support continued expansion. The client retention rate of 94% demonstrated the value creation and service excellence that justified premium pricing while building long-term relationships that provided stable revenue foundations. The average client engagement duration of 8 months indicated the strategic nature of consulting relationships, rather than transactional project completion. The referral generation rate of 67% of new clients originating from existing client recommendations validated the systematic approach to service excellence and relationship building. This organic growth pattern eliminated traditional marketing expenses while ensuring that new clients arrived with realistic expectations and genuine commitment to consulting investment. The team productivity metrics indicated successful integration of additional capabilities while maintaining quality standards. The systematic processes and training programs had enabled team expansion without diluting service quality or client satisfaction, providing foundation for further growth as market opportunities continued expanding. The personal transformation. Metrics reflected changes that extended far beyond business success and financial achievement. The confidence, strategic thinking capabilities, and leadership qualities developed through building Pinnacle brand solutions represented personal growth that would support continued success regardless of specific business outcomes. The financial independence achieved through systematic business development had eliminated the vulnerability that had made Rachel's betrayal so devastating. The monthly income generated through consulting services exceeded the total amount she had stolen, demonstrating that her actions had inadvertently catalyzed achievement that far surpassed any losses she had caused. The strategic positioning for second-year growth included plans for continued team expansion, service offering enhancement, and market penetration that would establish Pinnacle brand solutions as a recognized leader in specialized marketing consulting. The foundation established through systematic development provided platform for exponential growth while maintaining the quality standards that generated extraordinary client outcomes. The systematic approach to business development had created sustainable competitive advantages that would be difficult for competitors to replicate, while the focus on measurable results and client success had established reputation and credibility that would support premium positioning in expanding markets. Rachel's betrayal had forced development of capabilities and achievement of success that would never have emerged under comfortable employment circumstances. The crisis that seemed devastating had become the catalyst for transformation that exceeded every aspiration I had previously considered possible, demonstrating the extraordinary potential that emerges when systematic preparation meets strategic opportunity. The transformation of Pinnacle brand solutions from a successful consulting practice to a recognized industry leader began with an unexpected opportunity that emerged during the second quarter of my business operations. This pivotal moment would demonstrate the extraordinary potential that emerges when systematic preparation meets strategic opportunity, establishing credibility and market position that would support exponential growth. The opportunity originated through a referral from Rebecca Martinez, whose architectural firm had experienced remarkable success following implementation of the comprehensive marketing strategy we had developed together. Rebecca's enthusiastic recommendation to her business network had generated significant interest among Colorado's professional services community, creating awareness of the specialized consulting capabilities that Pinnacle brand solutions offered. Among the inquiries generated through Rebecca's referral network was a consultation request from Patricia Hendricks, Chief Executive Officer of Mountain Peak Financial Advisors, one of Colorado's largest independent wealth management firms. Patricia's organization managed approximately $800 million in client assets and employed 47 financial advisors across 7 office locations throughout the state. Mountain Peak Financial Advisors represented the most sophisticated client opportunity I had encountered since launching Pinnacle brand solutions. The firm possessed substantial resources, complex operational requirements, and ambitious growth objectives that would require advanced strategic consulting capabilities. The engagement would test every aspect of my business methodology, while providing opportunities to demonstrate expertise at the highest levels of professional services marketing. The initial consultation with Patricia revealed marketing challenges that were fundamentally different from those I had addressed for smaller professional services firms. Mountain Peak Financial Advisors possessed well-established brand recognition and client relationships, but struggled with systematic approaches to client acquisition and retention that could support their aggressive expansion goals. The firm's growth strategy included plans to double their assets under management within 3 years, while expanding into additional market segments that required sophisticated marketing capabilities. The achievement of these objectives would require comprehensive transformation of their marketing operations, including technology implementation, process systematization, and capability development across multiple office locations. Patricia's assessment of their current marketing effectiveness revealed significant gaps between their growth ambitions and operational capabilities. The firm relied primarily on referral relationships and traditional networking activities for client acquisition, approaches that had generated steady growth but could not support the accelerated expansion they were pursuing. The complexity of wealth management marketing presented unique challenges that required specialized expertise in financial services regulations, sophisticated client communication strategies, and advanced relationship management systems. These requirements represented opportunities to develop industry-specific capabilities that could differentiate Pinnacle brand solutions from generalist marketing consultants. The comprehensive assessment I conducted for Mountain Peak Financial Advisors included analysis of their competitive positioning, client acquisition processes, retention strategies, and technology infrastructure. This evaluation revealed substantial opportunities for improvement that could generate measurable increases in client acquisition rates and average relationship values. The competitive analysis demonstrated that Mountain Peak Financial Advisors possessed significant advantages in terms of service quality and client satisfaction, but lacked the marketing sophistication necessary to communicate these advantages effectively to prospective clients. The firm's positioning strategy failed to differentiate their services from commodity financial advisory offerings, limiting their ability to command premium pricing or attract high-net-worth clients. The client acquisition process analysis revealed inefficiencies in lead generation, prospect nurturing, and conversion optimization that were preventing the firm from capitalizing on their reputation and referral network. The lack of systematic approaches to relationship development meant that many qualified prospects were lost due to inadequate follow-up or ineffective communication strategies. The client retention analysis identified opportunities to strengthen relationships with existing clients while expanding service offerings to increase average relationship values. The firm possessed capabilities to provide comprehensive wealth management services but lacked the marketing systems necessary to communicate these capabilities effectively to their client base. The technology infrastructure assessment revealed significant gaps in customer relationship management, marketing automation, and performance measurement systems that were limiting the firm's ability to scale their marketing operations efficiently. The absence of sophisticated technology platforms meant that marketing activities were largely manual and difficult to optimize based on performance data. The strategic recommendations I developed for Mountain Peak Financial Advisors addressed each of these opportunity areas through comprehensive transformation of their marketing operations. The proposed changes would require substantial investment in technology, process development, and capability enhancement, but would generate measurable improvements in marketing effectiveness and business growth. The brand positioning strategy focused on establishing Mountain Peak Financial Advisors as the premier wealth management firm for successful professionals and business owners in Colorado. This positioning would differentiate the firm from generalist financial advisors while justifying premium pricing for sophisticated wealth management services. The positioning strategy emphasized the firm's expertise in complex financial planning, their commitment to fiduciary responsibility, and their comprehensive approach to wealth management that addressed all aspects of client financial well-being. These differentiating factors would attract high-net-worth clients while building relationships that commanded higher fees and longer retention periods. The client acquisition system design included comprehensive lead generation strategies, systematic prospect nurturing processes, and conversion optimization techniques that would generate consistent flow of qualified prospects while improving conversion rates. The systematic approach to relationship development would ensure that marketing investments produced measurable returns through increased client acquisition. The lead generation strategy incorporated content marketing, strategic partnerships, seminar programs, and digital marketing initiatives that would establish thought leadership while attracting qualified prospects. The multi-channel approach would provide consistent visibility among target audiences while building credibility. Through educational content and expertise demonstration, the prospect nurturing system included automated communication sequences, personalized follow-up procedures, and relationship-building activities that would maintain engagement with qualified prospects until they were ready to commit to wealth management services. The systematic approach to relationship development would improve conversion rates while reducing the time required for individual advisors to manage prospect relationships. The client retention and expansion strategy focused on strengthening relationships with existing clients while identifying opportunities to provide additional services that would increase average relationship values. The systematic approach to client relationship management would improve retention rates while generating additional revenue from existing client relationships. The technology implementation plan included customer relationship management systems, marketing automation platforms, and performance measurement tools that would enable sophisticated marketing operations while providing visibility into marketing effectiveness. The technology infrastructure would support scalable marketing activities while enabling continuous optimization based on performance data. The implementation timeline for Mountain Peak Financial Advisors extended over 18 months and included specific milestones, deliverables, and performance metrics that would ensure successful transformation of their marketing operations. The comprehensive nature of the engagement would require substantial collaboration between Pinnacle Brand Solutions and Mountain Peak's leadership team, while providing opportunities to demonstrate expertise at the highest levels of professional services consulting. The financial terms of the Mountain Peak Financial Advisors engagement represented the largest consulting contract in Pinnacle Brand Solutions history. The monthly retainer of $35,000, combined with implementation fees and performance bonuses, would generate total revenue exceeding $800,000 over the 18-month engagement period. The financial magnitude of this engagement validated the premium positioning strategy I had developed for Pinnacle Brand Solutions, while demonstrating the market demand for sophisticated marketing consulting services. The success of this project would establish credibility for pursuing similar engagements with other large professional services firms, while generating substantial revenue that would support continued business expansion. The implementation phase of the Mountain Peak Financial Advisors engagement required coordinating activities across multiple office locations while ensuring consistent application of the strategic framework we had developed. This operational complexity provided valuable experience in managing large-scale consulting projects while developing capabilities that would support future enterprise-level engagements. The brand positioning implementation included comprehensive messaging framework development, visual identity refinement, and communication strategy deployment across all client touchpoints. The systematic approach to brand consistency ensured that Mountain Peak Financial Advisors presented unified positioning, regardless of which office location or advisor was interacting with prospects or clients. The lead generation system implementation included website optimization, content marketing program development, and digital advertising campaigns that would generate consistent flow of qualified prospects. The multi-channel approach provided multiple touchpoints for prospect engagement while building comprehensive database of potential clients for systematic relationship development. The prospect nurturing system implementation included marketing automation platform deployment, communication sequence development, and relationship management training for advisors. The systematic approach to prospect engagement ensured consistent communication quality while enabling efficient management of large prospect databases. The client relationship management system implementation included comprehensive database development, service delivery optimization, and expansion opportunity identification processes. The systematic approach to client management would improve retention rates while generating additional revenue through expanded service offerings. The performance measurement system implementation included comprehensive analytics development, reporting procedures, and optimization processes that would enable continuous improvement of marketing effectiveness. The data-driven approach to marketing management would ensure that investments produced measurable returns while identifying opportunities for enhanced performance. The results generated through the Mountain Peak Financial Advisors engagement exceeded all performance projections and established Pinnacle Brand Solutions as a recognized leader in professional services marketing consulting. Within 12 months of implementation commencement, Mountain Peak Financial Advisors had experienced a 237% increase in qualified prospect generation and a 68% improvement in prospect conversion rates. The client acquisition improvements translated into substantial business growth for Mountain Peak Financial Advisors, with new client assets under management increasing by over $300 million during the first year of the engagement. The financial impact of these improvements far exceeded the consulting fees while validating the strategic approach we had developed. The client retention improvements resulted in the highest client satisfaction scores in Mountain Peak Financial Advisors history, with retention rates exceeding 96% and average relationship values increasing by 42%. These improvements generated additional annual revenue of over $2 million, while strengthening the foundation for continued growth. The success of the Mountain Peak Financial Advisors engagement generated immediate recognition within Colorado's professional services community and attracted attention from wealth management firms throughout the region. The case study became a powerful tool for demonstrating the value creation potential of sophisticated marketing consulting, while establishing credibility for pursuing similar engagements. The professional recognition generated through this engagement included invitations to speak at industry conferences, requests for expert commentary from trade publications, and consultation inquiries from professional services firms across multiple states. The thought leadership positioning enabled premium pricing for future engagements while building national reputation for specialized expertise. The Mountain Peak Financial Advisors success story became the foundation for establishing Pinnacle Brand Solutions as the premier marketing consulting firm for professional services organizations seeking systematic approaches to business development and client relationship management. The demonstrated expertise in complex organizational transformation provided competitive advantages that would support continued growth and expansion. The personal satisfaction derived from this engagement extended beyond financial success to include the recognition that I had developed capabilities that could generate extraordinary value for sophisticated clients facing complex business challenges. The transformation from individual consultant to recognized industry expert represented personal growth that validated every decision made since discovering Rachel's betrayal. The strategic positioning established through the Mountain Peak Financial Advisors engagement provided platform for pursuing additional large-scale consulting opportunities while commanding premium pricing for specialized expertise. The reputation and credibility generated through this success would support exponential business growth while maintaining the quality standards that generated exceptional client outcomes. Rachel's theft had forced development of capabilities and achievement of recognition that would never have emerged through comfortable employment or gradual career progression. The betrayal that seemed devastating had become the catalyst for establishing industry leadership and professional recognition that exceeded every aspiration I had previously considered achievable. The remarkable success achieved through the Mountain Peak Financial Advisors engagement created unprecedented opportunities for strategic expansion that would transform Pinnacle Brand Solutions from a regional consulting practice to a nationally recognized authority in professional services marketing. The foundation established through systematic client success and measurable results positioned the firm for exponential growth across multiple market segments and geographic regions. The recognition generated through the Mountain Peak Financial Advisors case study had attracted attention from professional services firms throughout the Western United States, creating demand for specialized consulting services that exceeded our current capacity. The systematic methodology we had developed for transforming professional services marketing operations provided a competitive advantage that could be leveraged across various industries and market conditions. The strategic planning process for business expansion required careful analysis of market opportunities, resource requirements, and operational capabilities that would enable sustainable growth while maintaining the quality standards that generated exceptional client outcomes. The expansion strategy needed to balance aggressive growth objectives with prudent risk management that would protect the reputation and competitive advantages we had established. The market analysis revealed substantial opportunities for expansion into multiple professional services sectors, including legal services, accounting firms, consulting organizations, and healthcare practices. Each of these market segments possessed unique characteristics and regulatory requirements, but shared common challenges related to client acquisition, retention, and relationship management that aligned with our proven expertise. The legal services market represented particularly compelling opportunities as law firms increasingly recognized the need for sophisticated marketing approaches that could differentiate their services while complying with professional advertising regulations. The combination of high revenue potential and limited competition from marketing consultants with legal industry expertise created attractive conditions for market entry. The accounting services market offered significant potential during a period of industry consolidation and increasing competition for high-value business clients. Accounting firms required specialized marketing strategies that could communicate technical expertise while building trust relationships with business decision-makers who controlled substantial service contracts. The management consulting market presented opportunities to serve firms that possessed deep industry expertise but lacked systematic approaches to business development and client relationship management. The irony of consulting firms needing consulting services created unique positioning opportunities for demonstrating expertise while serving sophisticated clients who understood the value of professional services excellence. The healthcare services market revealed growing demand for marketing consulting as medical practices faced increasing competition and regulatory complexity. Healthcare providers required specialized approaches to patient acquisition and retention that addressed unique, ethical and regulatory considerations while generating measurable practice growth. The geographic expansion analysis identified opportunities for establishing operations in major metropolitan areas where concentrations of professional services firms created sufficient market density to support dedicated business development efforts. The target markets included Phoenix, Seattle, Denver, Austin, and Atlanta, cities with growing professional services sectors and limited competition from specialized marketing consultants. The operational expansion strategy required developing capabilities for managing multiple market segments and geographic regions while maintaining the systematic service delivery that generated exceptional client outcomes. This expansion would necessitate significant investments in team development, technology infrastructure, and operational systems that could support scalable business operations. The team expansion plan included recruiting senior consultants with specialized expertise in target market segments, developing training programs that would ensure consistent application of proprietary methodologies, and establishing quality assurance procedures that would maintain service excellence across multiple client engagements and geographic locations. The technology infrastructure expansion included implementation of advanced project management systems, client communication platforms, and performance measurement tools that would enable efficient coordination of complex consulting engagements while providing superior client service experiences. These investments would support scalable operations while maintaining the personalized attention that generated client satisfaction and referral opportunities. The service offering diversification strategy included development of specialized consulting packages for different professional services sectors while maintaining the core methodology that generated consistent results. The sector-specific approaches would address unique industry characteristics and regulatory requirements while leveraging proven frameworks for marketing transformation. The legal services consulting package addressed the unique challenges facing Law firms in competitive markets, including practice area positioning, thought leadership development, referral relationship management, and client communication strategies that complied with professional conduct regulations. The specialized approach would differentiate our services from generalist marketing consultants while commanding premium pricing for industry expertise. The accounting services consulting package focused on the specific needs of accounting firms, seeking to attract high-value business clients while managing seasonal workflow variations and regulatory compliance requirements. The systematic approach to business development would address the relationship-based nature of accounting services while implementing scalable client acquisition processes. The management consulting service package addressed the complex business development challenges facing consulting firms that competed based on expertise and relationship quality, rather than traditional marketing approaches. The specialized methodology would help consulting firms systematize their business development while maintaining the professional credibility essential for success in competitive consulting markets. The healthcare services consulting package addressed the unique marketing challenges facing medical practices, including patient acquisition strategies, reputation management, regulatory compliance, and service line development that could generate practice growth while maintaining professional, ethical standards. The pricing strategy evolution reflected both expanded service capabilities and proven track record of generating measurable results across multiple industry segments. The diversified service portfolio enabled flexible pricing approaches that could accommodate various client requirements while maximizing revenue potential from different market segments. The implementation of this expansion strategy began with strategic hiring initiatives designed to attract experienced professionals who possessed both industry expertise and commitment to the systematic service delivery that differentiated Pinnacle Brand Solutions from competitive alternatives. The recruiting process emphasized cultural fit and client service excellence while building capabilities in target market segments. Up next, you've got two more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.